Well, good day to all of our awesome following doc here, the funnel doc here. Listen, we've got a very special webinar that we're going to have on this evening. And those of you that are familiar with our trainings, you know we like to start off our trainings with something that's nice and picturesque to get you dreaming again. But I want to discuss very quickly why you want to clear off your schedule to be on this live webinar on this evening. You know, there are some leaders out there that are just absolutely kicking butt with THW Global, even though, as I'm doing this recording, we haven't launched yet. Of course, we've been saying to our audience, is it crap? Is it gold? And I'm starting to lean more towards the gold part. Okay, I'm starting to lean more towards the gold part. All of us have probably been, scammed before, and, companies have promised things that weren't necessarily scams. Maybe they just didn't execute. So there's that reservation that I think we all have. We all want this to be legit, because if it's legit, then that means that people can earn up to $1,000 a month viewing promotional content, and what that could mean for those of you that are building organizations, what that could mean for you. That's just, I see the potential of 8-figure businesses. All right, not just 6 figures, $100,000 a year, not just 7 figures, $1 million a year or more. I see the potential, if the company performs, if the company executes, of folks being able to ultimately scale to an 8-figure business. Now, here's the thing. How does that happen? It doesn't happen accidentally. All right. I didn't say that quite right, but it doesn't happen on accident. It has to be purposed. It has to be purposed. So here's one of our leaders that he sent this to me the other day, and I'm sure he's well over 3,000 now. This was the total of number of registrants in his 10-level organization. You can see he's a big personal sponsor, over 270 personally at that time, and now his organization is starting to grow. I know this guy. I know what this guy's capable of, and he's got some great leaders on his team. So these numbers could easily mushroom, put a 0 on here. Now here's the thing. When you understand the compensation plan, and let's just think of the 10 levels. In your 10 levels, anyone that views an hour of content, that could be up to $1 of compensation to you. So if you've every person in your 10-level organization could be worth up to $40 a month. So if you do the math here, let's call it 3,000. Let's call it 3,000. All right. If those 3,000 folks collectively, some are going to view 10 hours of content, some are going to view none. Okay. If they average 2 hours of viewing times these 3,000 folks a week, two hours a week, not 10 hours, 2 hours a week. All right. Then that would put him on pace to be at $6,000 a week. That would already put him on pace at a $24,000, $25,000 a month income, which would be like a $300,000 a year income. And he's not started really promoting yet. He's just gone to his existing list. He's not done his traffic campaigns and things of that nature, and probably his folks haven't done that either. Once they see things go live and once people get paid, I mean, it's really going to get crazy. And remember that THW sent out a post, and I don't know if everybody got it or if it was just those in the U.S. that got it. I'm not sure. But their goal going into 2017 is to have 10 million international viewers. Well, how many of those do you want to be on your team? All right. There was another post that we saw where someone, I mean, these are just gargantuan numbers. They're already at 51,000 folks. Again, if they just average 2 hours times the 51,000 folks, that would be over 6 figures a week. All right. And again, even though this is a huge number, I would suggest that these folks haven't even gotten started yet. All right. Because, there's still some reservation that I think we all have. So here's the question. How do we take this? And if it's gold, how do we scale it to a 6 or a 7 or an 8-figure business? This is so much bigger than you or I viewing content for 10 hours for up to $250 a week, up to $1,000 a month. That's a starting point. And that's a point that we all should commit to, covenant to max out our viewing. So what we're going to do on Thursday nights, we're going to focus on how do you build a business. All right. Yes, THW is going to be a focal point, but we're going to talk about the principles that you need to apply in order to build a long-term sustainable business. I promise you, the folks behind 51,000, all right, that didn't just happen by happen chance. That didn't happen because they just wished that it would happen. They've been doing things up to this point that allowed them to be very responsive, or the audience was very responsive to their message. Well, what have they done up to this point? This gentleman here that sent me this, I know this guy. I mean, I know what this guy is capable of doing, but I also know that he employs universal laws and principles in marketing in his business. What we want to do with our audience doesn't matter if you're personally enrolled by us, doesn't matter if you're in our personal enrollment tree, doesn't matter if you're in our 10 levels or not. We want to teach you how to not just be a marketer, but how to become a professional marketer, and ultimately even an entrepreneur, where you have multiple streams of income. I mean, the way I see THW Global, if she performs, I mean, she becomes a foundation for you to build your very own global internet business conglomerate. I mean, what could happen? Starting off with you viewing, but if you will follow what we teach about using that viewing income as a seed to begin to really build out a long-term sustainable business with your list, where you're capturing leads, where you're communicating with your list on a consistent basis of value, and you may say, I don't know what to communicate. That's why you need to be on our webinar, so that you can see what we're putting into place for our audience, so that you ultimately build your own list, so you ultimately have your own responsive list. All right, so that you can communicate whatever you want to communicate to that list, and you have ears that are attentive to your message because of the value that you bring to them. All right, so Thursday nights are our training nights. All right, so go to thwglobalwebinar.com if you haven't already done so. Now, if you've already done this, if you've already gone there and you've already opted into our webinar series, you don't have to re-opt in. You're fine, okay? This is an ongoing series. Tuesday nights is our presentation night. All right, that's where you want to drive either people that have not registered with you yet and they're kind of sitting on the fence, they're hearing all the buzz, but there's a lot of sizzle, but they haven't seen the steak yet. All right, and that's really what's happening right now. There's a lot of buzz, a lot of excitement, but a lot of people really don't even know what they have. They're sending out links, they're getting people to register, and that's good. All right, but what we want is we want to make sure that people understand it as they undertake it. The more people understand what THW Global is, assuming she's gold, okay, assuming she's gold, then the more people are going to commit to viewing the content. See, it does me no good, does you no good to have 10,000 people in your organization and nobody's viewing the content because they don't know what the heck is really going on. Okay, we're going to show you can have a much smaller organization than someone else, but if you have a larger percentage of people that are viewing, maxing out their viewing, you can still make more money. And forget about what somebody else is making. Don King said you can't get rich counting another person's money. All right, so in any event, Tuesday night is our presentation night. All right, that's where you want to drive new people that have never joined you, drive existing people that are on your team, so that we resell the vision to them, all right, to the existing people, and then sell the vision to the new people. Thursday night is where we take our time to help you start to understand the laws of building an internet-based, mobile-based enterprise. We call it finger paint, all right? The reason being is I'm not going to overwhelm you with technical stuff. I'm going to give you actionable items that you're going to say, oh, see, we'll get into that on the webinar. We'll tell you a little bit about our journey, just so you understand our journey and why we're able to bring this type of value that we're going to be bringing to you. Okay, so make sure that you have registered. We call it our finger paint training, helping you understand how to build your business, not just THW Global, but how to build a long-term sustainable business. Go to thwglobalwebinar.com, and if you're seeing this on on a video sharing site like YouTube or what have you, when you opt in, right now, any replays that we're sending to this list. So even if you can't make the live webinar for whatever reason, but if you want to get the live, if you want to get the webinar replays, opt into this list with your best email address. We will never send out any personal referral links to this list. Let me make sure that's clear. We'll never send out any personal referral links to this list because we know a lot of people on this list aren't even on our team. All right, so we look forward to seeing you. Our webinar is going to be Thursday, June 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday, June 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern. You might be seeing this after the fact, so just make sure that you have registered at thwglobalwebinar.com so you'll get any of our future webinar announcements, live ones, and get any recordings that we will send out. One last thing in terms of a disclaimer. I'm a IV just like you. I'll be an international viewer just like you. I'm building a business just like you. I am not corporate. This URL was available, so I snagged it, thwglobalwebinar.com, but that is not a corporate webinar. I was just leveraging the THW brand, and hopefully corporate won't have a problem with us doing so. If they do, then they'll let us know, and we'll use some other URL. But I just wanted to make sure that you understand when you come to the webinar, I'm not corporate and I'm not support for the company or anything like that, okay? All right, with that being said, we love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours. We'll see you on the webinar. If you're seeing this on our webinar replay page, some of you opted in since we sent out our last webinar replay, then you may very well also be seeing the last webinar that we did, which was a presentation webinar. So feel free to view that as well. We love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours.